Howdy y'all, JT Johnson here with another Age of Sigmar tournament battle report. In this battle report, I'll be taking Ossiarch Bonereapers to the Forge here in Houston, Texas. So, let's get ready to roll. Alright, so for all of you guys that are following the channel, you know that I've been running Dock for a couple months now. I think I started painting them around November last year, and I've been playing them pretty solid since then. Well, I've finished up with Doc at least until the new book's out in a couple months, and I'm excited to try some other armies on my shelf that I haven't played in a while. I've had a Bone Reaper's army that I fully painted. Right before third edition dropped, I had a fully painted Staliarch Lord's army that 3 units of 10 Death Riders. I was just cavalry heavy. I really liked that mechanic with first turn charges. And then, of course, third edition come out, and it really changed how Bone Reapers played. It changed how cavalry played because just the way everything was. So I sort of shelved it and I switched to Tzeentch. Well, now I've had the opportunity. I said, you know what? I really want to break these guys out. They've had a lot of rules updates, and after talking with Jonathan after Dallas, I was really, really motivated. Hey, I want to get these guys on the table and just sort of see what they could do. Because after playing Doc too, Doc's a really big glass cannon. They can do the damage, but they just really can't take a punch back very much. And Bone Reapers are the epitome of just standing and fighting. You just cannot grind them down. You will lose a grind fest with these guys. So I'm really excited to get these guys on the table. And I'm excited to go to the Forge. This will be the first time I'm ever going to this hobby shop, this game store. It's newer in Houston. I don't know how many months ago they opened around, but they're planning on hosting a monthly Age of Sigmar tournament, and I know they have at least one, if not two, 40K tournaments a month there. So really excited to go there and check out and see, what it's all about and how it looks. That being said, let's just get into the list and then we'll look at the army. All right, so here's the list that I've got going, and this list sort of came about of two things. One, looking at the models that I had on my shelf painted, and I had to paint a few extra Mortek Guard, but basically it was already done. And stuff that I really want to play, just the mechanic I want to try, which was put a bunch of Mortek Guard on the table and grind it out. So Legion, we took the Petrifex Elite. -1 Rend. The bludgeon is really good. I like their artifacts. Just a solid Legion to take. We took Hold the Line, which most people do when you do take OBR because their battle line is just so good and so tanky. We have Arcane the Black. So he's sort of the centerpiece. He's going to be having all the spell casting. He's going to put out buffs. He's going to bring back 3 wounds worth of models every turn. So he's a monster, so I can do some monster stuff with him. And he's okay in combat. Not the worst thing ever, so you can definitely stand toe to toe with some weaker chaff or something if you need to. It's not really where you want to be with him. Liege Cavalos, just because when you can take a Liege Cavalos, he's going to give an extra attack to a unit. Usually, in this case, it'll be the catapult. Mighty Archchosen and Godbone Armor, just making him super tanky, like ignoring the first wound, extra wounds, just a good strong. And I put all those on him, and I know there's an argument to put it on the Soul Mason to keep the Soul Mason alive longer, but when you put it on the Liege, it just makes it a little bit harder to get that battle tactic to slay the Warlord. Decently fast, so he can keep up and move around that he needs to. Soul Mason. The Mortisons are really good right now. They have you can cast a spell, and the first spell you cast, it cannot be unbound. So I really want to include a Soul Mason in my army. This guy's got 2 casts, 2 unbinds. I gave him the Arcane Tome for an extra cast. So just looking at my casts in this list, I have 3 casts, and that's really good because the lore is really good for OBR. Plus, you'll see I did take a an Endless Life Swarm, just because I wanted to have that ability if the Soul Mason or Arcan or maybe a Mortek Guard was sort of on their last wound or so, that I can charge them back up. Because even 3 or 4 Mortek alive, you have the possibility with Arcan, with healing to bring back 6 or 7, I mean 9 possibly in a turn, and that's just very demoralizing to the enemy when they took them a whole turn of combat to maybe even not even kill 9. And for his, of course, Arcan knows all the spells, and the Soul Mason, I took Reinforced Battle Shields because I kind of looked at what are my priority spells, and Reinforced was probably the 4th in most scenarios, so I wanted him to be able to cast that. And Reinforced is a really good spell. A unit of Caballos Death Riders, and I sort of played with this list several times, and I think that if we all know, oh, the Death Riders are overcosted compared to Guard, kind of agree, but I wanted a little bit of speed, just so if I need to go grab an objective or something that isn't locked down, I can move them around. 3 units of Reinforced Mortek Guard, that's 20 wounds of re-rolling saves. More than likely the Soul Mason or Arcan is probably going to cast a Mystic Shield, possibly on them or on himself, just depending on the matchup. And it's just super, super tanky, especially you get Reinforced Battle Shields on them. They're just very tanky, and it is extremely hard to remove them in regular combat. Shooting, magic, yes, of course, but regular combat's really hard to remove them. I took a Crawler, and I know that a Crawler is, if you played OBR, it is one of those love-hate relationships. Will it make its points back? Because sometimes it'll triple its points. It's just like you're playing an opponent with some really squishy screens or some squishy characters, and it just hits and makes its points back. And then other times you play somebody with a bunch of 3-up armor saves, and it does nothing the whole game. So I'm taking the Crawler just to see how it does, and it gives you a little bit of ability to reach out and touch somebody. There's a lot of support characters in the game that I'll be targeting. Screens to take out, hey, there's 1 wound left on that unit in the back on the objective. That's the type of thing. Inward Life Swarm, Warlord, and Hunters. Warlord was for the extra artifact. Yeah, the extra CP doesn't really work, but I get the artifact. And Hunters for all the Mortek Guard, which is pretty important on those guys, because you don't want it getting stomped. You don't want any of the monsters' actions going off on them. 1990, 111 of tough wounds. 111 tough wounds, and it's an 8-drop. So there we go. There's a list. Let's take a look at what it looks like on the table.
All right, I'm here with Saiba, and we are playing First Blood, and it's OBR versus OBR. And I outdrop. I'm going to take the first turn because I want to get on points and start scoring. Okay, so for my turn, I took first advance with the 2 unit Mortek Guard and Arcan, and I ran. And We took all 3 points. I shot with well, let's go back to the hero phase. First cast with Arcan was double ones, so, and then I rolled a 5 and didn't save any wards, so he had 3 wounds on him and didn't get any spells off, which was okay, super fun. I failed a Mystic Shield here, but I managed to get reinforced battle shields off on the far unit, and then the 2 of my units have exploding vibes from him. Shot with the Harvester and put a couple wounds on. Shot with the Crawler, put a couple wounds on the Harvester, and basically just took points. So we're going into OBR turn 1. Okay, so for her turn, she took Ferocious Advance here. I got a couple spells off, really buffed up this unit over here with, what did you get on them?
Reinforced battle shields and empower Netherite weapons.
Alright, and so she ran these 3 units here to get her battle tactic, just a little bit short of the point. The catapult took out 2.5 Death Riders with a pretty good shot, and failed a charge here with the other Death Riders, so that's sort of where we're sitting at on the board. We're going to roll for priority going into turn 2. And I got a 5. To 5, I had first turn, so I will keep the priority going.
Okay.
Alright, wrapped up my turn. I won the priority. Magic was okay. Really, the Mason, he spiked and got 6 soul guides off. I got a Mystic Shield out there, so Arcane really didn't do anything. I did Curse of Years because I took Bring It Down on the Harvester. He was pretty wounded, and I threw a bunch of magic. I did all my shooting at him, got him down to 2 wounds. The Death Riders finished him off, and then I was able to make a long bomb charge here, 12-inch charge. I got a short charge here and a short charge there, and sort of activated here, killed the Harvester. She swung back, and over here, somehow those guys knocked out that 10-man unit. It was just a crazy rolls. And here we killed 3 horses, and that's where we're at. And score right now is 11-2. So going into OBR turn 2. I mean, we ran out of time. All right, so we wrapped it up. We sort of talked it out. Her turn, she took the OBR tithe. What is it called?
A bone tithe.
The bone tithe to try to take out him. Is sort of like a long shot and hit him with everything he could, and he ended up living. We went to a priority roll off. We kind of didn't really do anything else because the judges are calling time, and then we sort of talked out what battle tactics we could do as we went along. But that was pretty much it. You see the grind in the middle that was occurring with OBR.
All right, so there was only 6 people at this tournament, and 2 of us were OBR, and of course we get matched up to each other first round. I know the big question: how come you only got like 2 full turns in? To be quite honest, the whole tournament started a little late, and me and Saiba, this was our first time both playing this army, and for me in years, and I think this was one of her first couple times playing it. So we were looking up a lot of questions. There was a lot of rules to look up. You know, we were taking our time. We were just sort of playing it out and learning and talking as we go. And and then at the end, it sort of got away. I think she failed a couple of her battle tactics already, and it's the points wise, it was started already getting out of hand. And once I won the priority going into 3, we just sort of discussed, hey, this is what you could do, this is what I could do, and we sort of just finished it up from there. The judges were calling time because it was lunch, so you know it was a good, I think, for both of us warm up for the day with OBR, because I discussed with her, some of the things that she had her Harvester running off by itself, and I'm like, hey, put it behind your Mortek Guard, just little things like that, and we just started talking about it. But she was a really fun opponent, and we had it was nice playing someone early that we were both playing the same army and just sort of like going through the motions, sort of figuring it out as we went. I got lucky with going first, priority rolls, so it just sort of allowed me to get up the board and sit there. 2 OBRs are sort of crashing into each other. It's just going to come down to a bunch of rolls, honestly. And I think that's what happened on that right hand side, is that I was able, my 20 block was able to take out her 10. It just sheer rolls. Everything I rolled, I sort of spiked, and everything she rolled, she sort of like didn't. And you know, in math wise, there should have been 1 or 2 of those guard left alive, and I wiped the unit to the man. So that sort of allowed me to give me initiative on that side as well. But so far, I'm enjoying the army. It's very straightforward. Hey, go forward and grind someone down. And so we're going into game number 2 right now.
Alright, we are set up for Savage Games. I'm playing Philip. Philip is playing Stormcast. What kind of Stormcast you playing?
Hammers of Sigmar Stormkeep.
Hammers of Sigmar Stormkeep. We have set up like this right here. And he's a 1-drop. Who's taking the first turn?
We'll give you the turn.
I'm getting the turn. Alright, here we go. Alright, so my turn. Got 6 casts off again with him because of the 2 base, the 1 for the tome, and then I rolled a 6 to give the extra casts on his signature spell. Protection to Gosh, I got off several spells there. Ended up doing 1 mortal wound with Soul Stealer on the Fulminators, and basically my battle tactic was to run those 3 units there. The catapult shot, he hit it with everything, wounded with 3. He made all 3 of his armor saves on the Judicators, and I went up and took the 2 center points and scored battle tactic, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so 7 points going into Stormcast turn 1. Well, my turn could have went, I guess it could have been worse. So, as expected, the Fulminators came up here and wiped them out. His battle tactic was run. He ran his 3 heroes. He teleported his Judicators up front to get 24-inch range of Arcan. He basically died to the wound because Bastion had already done the roll on his wound characteristic for a couple mortals. So, Arcan is gone. He shot the second time with the Judicators and took out 6 Mortek Guard over there. The only saving grace was that I kept that point. And now we're going into a roll-off for turn 2, and he's got it.
Yep.
Alright, so he's going to take it.
I'm not gonna do this.
Alright, Philip's turn. Went pretty good. That double really did him well. So he took for his battle tactic this turn, which was
Conquer on that point.
Conquer on the far point. He took that. I've got 2 more Tech Guard left. He made the charges with both those guys, but that's after they got shot from a teleporting unit of Judicators. He charged in here. Obviously, we knew that was coming. And the Mortek Guard actually, with all the buffs, did pretty well. He only killed 9 of the 20, and then we ended up doing 9 wounds back to the Fulminators between the 2 units, and he ended up taking
He's got the
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, and going into my turn on 2.
Okay, so, right.
Alright, so kind of stuck in my deployment zone. Battle tactic options were super low, so I ended up taking the OBR specific one, which is to kill a hero or monster. I picked his mage and was able to do it with a catapult. Amazingly, I don't say amazingly, but I killed him. This unit of Mortek Guard over here is gone. Cavalos charged in. He killed a couple models. Here we ended up taking out another Fulminator, taking out one of these guys, but I still don't hold the point. you battle shock tests. It's the only thing left. They lost 2.
They also, they could fail on a 6. He's good.
And they're good. And they're good.
Yeah.
And I don't take any. So now is a roll off to see who's going in turn 3. 3-3. You have it.
I'll keep it.
He's going to keep it.
Okay.
Pretty good turn. Again, we're at a slugfest, I guess. He took Conquer. Aggressive expansion to hold that and hold it back. He teleported his fulminators out of combat and then made a 9-inch charge to come back. The crawler's gone. He shot that off the table with the adjudicators. Bastion made it in combat here, and I piled into him, so he basically didn't get to take the point. Almost took the point, or didn't take that point. We got pretty close there, but he scored his max this turn. And my liege, the good combat fighty general there, 2 rounds of combat, killed 1 model.
1 model round.
So we're going into my turn. I'm going to see if I can do any battle tactics, if there's anything I can actually do.
Going to priority.
So my turn, I went ahead and took broken ranks there. I used the extra movement to get these guys out of combat. Like several spells went off. I had Mystic Shield go off. I put Arcane Bolts on him just for a few extra mortal wounds going into those guys. And between all the attacks and him, we took that unit out. I was able to get out of combat with the Fulminators. It says +1 to hit, but it's -1 to hit from the Bone Tithe. We ended up taking the point, and guess what? The Liege Capilos. He actually killed a whole model this combat. So he is doing good. Now we're going into a priority roll.
You can heal him for 3.
Yeah.
4 to 3. I'm going to take it to get a battle
That's about
tactic.
it, yeah.
And then we're probably going to wrap it there and just talk it out because it's
But that's one unit.
we're going to look at points and add it
Well,
up
he
and
has
see
one
what it
left,
looks like.
right?
Yes, he did.
All right, so going up against Stormcast, and I really like Philip's list, and I've known Philip for a while. He's real active in the community around here. So I think this is one of the first time I've actually got to play him. His Stormcast list is just solid. It doesn't have any, it's no frills. It just sort of does what it does and says, hey, I'm going to shoot you with these guys. I'm going to charge you with these guys. And then in about turn 2, Bastion's going to be there if you haven't shot him off the board yet, and he's going to kill a bunch of stuff. And that's really honestly what happened. Even if I think I won the turn priority going into 2, it does help me a little bit. It helps me get on that point and start hitting the fulminators some more. It denies their charges, but really, honestly, those of you that have been ever charged by fulminators know how much damage they can do. And the Mortek Guard tanked it. They were like, okay, bro. So I was really impressed with that, just to see that tankiness really show off. But then again, the Adjudicators on the other side are just taking out 5 to 10 every shot. So it's an up and down. I knew that at the end, the writing was on the wall at the end. We sort of talked out the last bit after our one priority and just sort of played out all the points, just talking it through what could occur. And the reason why is he had all his adjudicators alive. He had Bastion in my lines, and he still had a couple fulminators left. So it wasn't like, oh, I have a good shot here. It was pretty much like, how many battle tactics can I complete in this loss? How many points can I gain in this loss so I can it helps me in the standings overall, I guess. But it was a fun game. I don't want to say it was a close game because I don't feel it was. Probably the biggest mistakes that I made, there was 2. Really didn't talk about it, but I knew he was going to charge his fulminators into my Death Riders, and I was trying to actually get my Mortek Guard further up so that they could be within 3 inches, but when I ran them, I rolled pretty poorly, and they didn't get close enough to get into that or be activated in that combat, because that was the hope that would activate them early so they wouldn't wipe out the Death Riders. He gets a turn, then charges into them. Didn't happen. The other thing too, probably, I believe I had Protection of Nagash up, and when Bastion did his wounds to Arcane, I sort of teleported him, but I didn't really move him. That was probably the time where I should have pushed him back a little bit further and moved my Mortek Guard a little bit further out, and hopefully just keeping him from getting shot off the board with the double shooting the first turn. So really, I was playing down Arcane for most of the game, and that was, that's a pretty big hit. But all in all, even at the end, I still had Mortek Guard that was surviving against Bastion and Fulminators. So I'm telling you guys, these guys, they resist they resist the close combat. It's like Iron Jaw's worst nightmare. All right, so we're 1-1, and we're going into game number 3.
Yep, so 1980, so I'll get +1 and +1 for battle.
All right, we're playing Feral Foray against Andrew and his Seraphon. So, yeah, there's castles in a forest. There's a big castle temple with dinosaurs. Who's going first?
You get to choose.
Oh, yeah,
finish the
I'll
point
drop.
first.
Who is going first? I guess I go first. I might as well, so I don't get shot before anything else. Is it the right choice? I'm picking it. I'm going first.
It's tough. I think it's tough. That's my list is designed to be tough on the opponent to choose.
So let's go see what happens. Okay, so my turn wasn't horrible. I got a couple spells off. Was in range to give a -1 hit to that Bastillodon there. I moved the 2 units of Mortek Guard up with the extra 3 inches for a long bond charge over here. Didn't make it. The Death Riders did make the first turn charge, and they ended up taking that point. I got a reinforced battle shield over here. We shot at the Slan, and we did 4 wounds to the Slan.
Because I reduced the 5 down to 4.
So not horrible. I know Protection and the Gosh didn't go off, and Mystic Shield didn't go off. So so later Command Entourage. We'll see y'all in the next game. But here we go into Seraphon turn 1. All right. So take us through your turn.
Went for Conquer on this objective because there were just a few horses there. Try to get some spells off. Arcane Unbound, Comet's Call, Equilibrium, and I think Mystic Shield. I think you saw all 3 of this for the Slan. So Slan didn't cast anything successfully, but we did get the -1 save onto these guys, so that was big. And we got reroll once to hit from him onto the Bastillodon. Brought down Arkin to a wound between the 2 Bastillodons and a mortal wound from, I think, the terrain piece, shooting your terrain piece. So one wound left on Arkin there. We conquered this. Skinks came over and bullied some stuff over here. And kind of blocked off this area, trying to keep you from getting 20 dudes onto that objective. And just moved everything up there.
And big priority roll. 4, 5. All right.
I'll take it.
Because they missed all of their attacks, and everything else.
1 for 2, battle tactic with a monster.
All right.
Monster, so 6.
What happened this turn?
So this turn I went for, I got the roll, so I took it, and Arkin was down to 1 wound. He did recover 2 wounds on heroic recovery, so he's at 3, so I went for bring it down on him either way. Ended up getting it with the Engine's chart. He got a 2-up D3 mortal wounds, got the 2-up, rolled 3 mortal wounds. Arkin didn't make any, so that was how that happened. Moved the Skinks up here, shot a little bit over there, killed a few. Did a decent amount of mortal wounds from Comet's Call and stuff like that to all the units around there. Then my Bastillodons went full ham onto the catapult, brought it down to 4 wounds left. Is that
It's
right?
got 4 wounds. Yeah, I made it tanked every armor save.
Good. I mean, ignoring red is pretty good.
And one thing that really, I don't want to say turned, one thing that really sucked is I didn't dispel a single thing.
Yeah, all my spells went off.
Everything went
Every single spell went off. But yeah, so I got the bring it down with a monster, kill the monster. So I got 6 points for that turn, I believe. So I'm at 10 to 5, but it's your turn now, and we'll see.
All right, let's see what I can do.
turn.
All right, so for my battle tactic this turn, it was pretty much either run some dudes, and I was like, it's kind of a waste. So I went for again and take the tithe. He had a character, a 4-wound skink priest in the temple, and since I had a lot of wounds, I was +1 on the cursed steel. So we shot the cursed steel and took him out. Made a charge here. Cavalos, I tried to position in a crazy way for like an 8-inch, 9-inch charge to the slime, and he didn't make it, so we just went in here and we're working on his general, and they went over there and they killed 3 of the riders, and he did some slap it back. Actually did okay over here with the skinks, killed 5 guard in combat, and about 5 in Overwatch too. It was
decent, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you killed 4 because I made some good mystic terrain saves as well.
So it comes down to
turn 3?
some priority rolls. 6 to 3. Oh, I live to fight another day.
Are you gonna take it? 4 technically, which is nice for you. And then battle tactic 4/5. Yeah, 5.
All right, so magic, Knot Storm got dispelled, so I didn't get to heal anything, and really didn't get anything else cast.
No, that's
I took a Savage Spearhead, and was able to get those in because the map is half the board. We took that unit out. We've got 8 wounds on him right now, and we
6 left.
We've been hurting the skinks. We actually used the special shot from the catapult, and we took out 6 extra plus the combat, So that's where we're at going into Seraphon.
Oh, and I'm auto passing there for a command point.
And that would have been all the battlefield. Yep.
Alright. So I'll get a command point back, and I'm still alive.
All right, Andrew's finishing up his turn. What all happened?
Did broken ranks. Got distracted by a catapult, so I killed him with his shooting attack. But
How many shots from Bastillodons did the 2-wound remaining catapult?
all 3 rounds of fighting, so 27 shots.
It took 27 shots, yeah. Because
I used all 27 on him. Yeah.
Yep.
It was pretty good. We did kill the Cavalos. Just I didn't do Slated Warlord just as a deep to get, and then one finest hour just get rid of them. I did get cursed. I don't think that even helped. Maybe it did. I think it was just mortal wounds that did it. Did a little bit of damage. Got the objective over here by auto running 6, but not close enough to burn. So that's the end of turn 3.
All right, and you got it. So we're going to call it right there. It's about out of time, and we'll talk out what's left. And then good game, Andrew.
Good game.
Yeah.
All right, game number 3. I got paired up with Andrew, and I've known Andrew forever. He runs the Atomic tournaments. He also runs a lot of the Legion stuff down at Atomic, and he's been running Seraphon for years. In fact, I remember going back in some of my first tournaments and some of my first games. I'm playing Legion and Nagash versus his old Seraphon. So I was really, to be honest with you, I was telling him all day, I'm like, I'm trying to dodge you, and then I get paired up with against him last round. But it's good because he's a really good player and he's fun to play against. So, we joke a lot, and that matchup's a little bit hard. Seraphon's a hard matchup for a lot of people, but the one thing that's good is, all the melee that he does, I'm kind of resilient to. And, looking back, a couple of interesting notes from the game. I was trying to be really aggressive. I really was trying to make some really long charges early. I said, if I can just get my guard across the board, pin him in, and then make him chew through the guard on his side of the board, maybe he gets through him turn 3 or 4, and then by that point, he doesn't have time to come across to my side. Didn't make any of the long charges with the Mortec in my turn, but the Death Riders did make it over there and got in, took the point, so I got up ahead early a little bit. That turn 2 priority, we always talk about the priorities and how that swings the battles. That was a big one just because he was still set back in his deployment. So if I was able to get that turn 2 priority, I could have, number 1, healed Arcan, had him alive for at least another turn, and then would been able to push all my Mortec guard up and really get into his sort of zone, get on his points, and then make the fight on his side of the board. But that's what happens. It's always a roll of the dice. A fun game. The funniest thing that happened, and we can't articulate this because that he shot so many times at the harvester, and that harvester just would not die. It said whatever. because he was worried that that harvester was going to keep targeting his slan. Which, guys, let me just tell you, going back to Jonathan, when we had our interview with him after Dallas, that's what he did in his final round against Caleb, was target all the heroes, the slans and the other heroes, especially in the temple. Even a -1 to hit, it ain't that bad on the crawler because you're already hitting on 2s anyway. So it's like you target their heroes, you start taking out their heroes. It really takes away their magic phase, and that's one thing that makes Seraphon so good is they're a 3-phase army. So when you remove one of those phases, you remove those buffs, it really drastically hurts the rest of their phases. So just a piece of advice, if you're playing OBR with a catapult, take out the slan, take out the priests. They're going to have 10 heroes. I mean, it's Seraphon. But Andrew ended up winning the tournament, so congratulations to him. Like I said, it's always fun to play him. I'm glad because he runs so many events. He doesn't get to play in a lot of them, so I'm glad that he was able to make it out to the Forge, and hopefully he gets to do that every month. All right, some closing notes. So let's talk about this real quick. So the Forge, I really enjoyed it. They have a good selection of product. They had beautiful tables. I mean, there had to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like 10 or 12 tables upstairs, 5 or 6 downstairs, paint stations downstairs. Like I said, a good shelf of products. So, sometimes you'll go to an event and you do your buy-in, you're there to play, but then if you do win prizes, sometimes the selection isn't that good. Their selection was really nice. Um, the management, the guys running the store were very friendly and accommodating. I usually say, hey, this is my channel. I'm going to record. Is there a problem? They had no problem with it. And, the parking lot was big. It seems that there's some other food places around to eat. And all in all, I enjoyed the store itself. So, guys, if you're in the Houston area, go check out the Forge. I think it's a nice place to go game, especially if you're on that side of town. OBR, man, I enjoyed my games with OBR. That even though I lost 2, it was like unlike Doc. It just like these guys were in it. I still had a quarter of my army on the board at the end. It felt like every game, just because the guard just won't die. And that's not even running harvesters. If I had harvesters, it's like you'll never kill a 20 block of them. Arcan, I think he died in 2 games very early to shooting, because if anybody's playing you, they know what to target. Partly my fault. I probably should have played him way in a corner somewhere. I mean, I don't know what to do. I want him up front so he can get his spells off. I was trying to get some damage out there. I was trying to deny spells. So I'm trying to use him and not just hide him for no reason. But, there's probably something to be said to put him back a little bit and to keep him safe. But I don't know. Maybe I should play with Catacross and he's a little bit more tanky and just go up. But I really liked Arcane's spell selections. Like I said, I'd still take him. Petrifex, still love it. -1 Ren, beautiful. The Crawler. So the Crawler's still interesting. For 200 something points, is it worth taking? Man, I really like the Crawler. In some games it lets you down a little bit, but against Stormcast, it does nothing. Even I was targeting his Judicators, and it's like all he did was all out defense and tank, make all his saves. But against OBR, I was able to put some wounds on some things. And against Seraphon, it's legitimately scary to them because they have all the squishy heroes. So is it worth taking? I think if you're going to a 5-round tournament, it is 100% worth a look, because all you're doing is targeting backline heroes. You're targeting screens. You're targeting those squishy things. So, it's no joke. If you go up against something with a low armor save, it's legitimately scary. I think it's all matchup dependent. You're not going to like it against Stormcast. You're not going to like it against Phoenix Guard and things like that. But against a lot of armies, it has some pretty good play. And think about this, it can put out 10, if you get some lucky rolls, even if you shoot at something with a good armor save, it can knock out 10 wounds like that. And it surprises people like, oh, that's 10 wounds you just did to my, 3-up save zombie dragon or a 2-up save zombie dragon if they fail their saves. So I suggest playing around with it. I like it. I think if I took this list again, I'd keep it in there. So I'm going to be mixing it up for a little bit and figuring out which destruction army I want to take to Slambo. I got Suns. I've got Maul tribes. So trying to figure out what to play next for the final Masters GT of the season. So, hey guys, I appreciate everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe and leave comments. If you saw something I did wrong or you didn't understand something, leave that in the comments. I'd love to answer any questions as best I can. Also, there will be a link in the description. It'll have all the opponents list if you're interested in that and what they use to play in this tournament, and a couple of more of the winning list. As always, thanks for watching, and y'all be good.